The frame on your face cost about $8 to make. The $170 Ray-Ban and the $400 Prada come off the same Luxottica line, different sticker on the temple. One company owns nearly the entire wall. 6 sunglasses brands to stop in 2026. 3 that still answer to no one. Number 1, Ray-Ban. Here is the number that should stop you cold. A Ray-Ban Aviator cost $79 in the year 2000. By 2009, it was $130. Today, it starts at $170. The polarized glass version runs past $240. Same frame, the same aviator shape your father wore. The price more than doubled, and the product did not improve to match it. So what changed? The owner. Luxottica bought Ray-Ban in 1999 for $640 million. Before that, the brand was bleeding, discounted, overproduced, sold cheap off gas station racks. Luxottica did something clever. It pulled Ray-Ban off the bargain shelves, restricted the supply, and pushed the price up year after year. Now, the logo is never the lens, and I will give Ray-Ban its due. It invented the Aviator in 1936 for the U.S. Army Air Corps, and it invented the Wayfarer. Those are genuine icons, and the first aviator lens was real optical glass. Sharp, scratch-resistant, built to last. But here is a quiet detail worth knowing. Many standard Ray-Bans today ship with a plastic lens unless you pay extra for the glass your grandfather got as standard. The pair your father bought for $40 and kept for 20 years has a grandchild on the shelf now. It costs $170, and it often wears a plastic lens where his was glass. And the brand's loudest push lately is the Ray-Ban Meta camera glasses, sold with Mark Zuckerberg's billions behind the launch. Here is what nobody tells you at the counter though. The same company that owns Ray-Ban owns the store you buy it in. That is Sunglass Hut, with over 3,000 locations. It owns LensCrafters and Pearl Vision too. And it owns iMed, one of the largest vision insurance plans in the country, with roughly 50 million members. Think about what that means for a moment. They sell you the insurance. They run the store that accepts it. They make the glasses sitting on the shelf. One company earns at every step of that walk. So the brands lined up beside your Ray-Ban are not its rivals. Most of them share its owner. You think you are choosing? You are not. Number 2, Oakley. This one is a hunting story, and the Predator won. Through the 90s, Oakley was the independent king of sport. Jim Jannard built it out of a garage with $100 and a motorcycle grip patent. Then came Plutonite lenses that block 100% of UV and the prism tint that genuinely sharpens contrast on a trail or a fairway. Real innovation, and I will credit it plainly. But Luxottica had bought Sunglass Hut, the biggest sunglasses retailer in America, and in 2001, the two of them went to war over wholesale pricing. So Luxottica did what a landlord does to a tenant it dislikes. It slashed Oakley's orders and pulled the brand off the shelves of its own stores. Oakley's stock fell off a cliff in a single day, nearly a third of the company's value gone by the closing bell. The brand never won that leverage back. And in 2007, Luxottica simply bought the whole thing for $2.1 billion. It had set the price as the landlord, then bought the tenant it had weakened. Jim Jannard took his money and walked, and later poured it into a camera company. The prism lens is still excellent, and that part is real. But the rebel that once stood against the giant is now a division of it. You are buying first-rate lens technology wrapped in the owner's pricing, and that same owner still runs the register where you pay. You can still buy Oakley, and the lens will perform. Just know the rebel flag on the box now flies over the same building as everything else on this list. Number 3, Prada. This is the purest trick on the entire wall. Pick up a pair of Prada sunglasses, $400, sometimes more. Now pick up a Ray-Ban beside it, $170. Different price, different logo, and the same Italian factory standing behind both. Here is the mechanism. Prada does not make sunglasses. Luxottica makes them under license. Prada lends the name, collects a royalty, and Luxottica sets the price. The same deal covers a stunning roster. Versace, Chanel, Armani, Dolce & Gabbana, Ralph Lauren, Burberry, Tiffany, Coach, Michael Kors, Bulgari. A designer house on the temple, Luxottica in the workshop. Now, I want to be precise, because precision protects you. The designs are not identical. A Prada frame and a Ray-Ban frame look different and are cut differently. but they are built by the same parent in the same facilities to the same general standard. And here is the dirty secret of the premium tier. Plenty of those $400 designer frames are injection molded plastic, not the cut cellulose acetate you would expect at that price. The designer who lent the name never set foot in the workshop. You are paying $250 extra for 4 letters etched on the arm. That is the entire transaction. Strip away the box, the branded case, and those 4 letters. You are holding a frame the same parent could sell you cheaper under a different name. The logo is never the lens. The next one hurts more because it wore a heritage you actually respected. Number 4. Persol. There is real history here, and I will honor it first. Persol was founded in Turin, Italy in 1917. Giuseppe Ratti built it for pilots and racing drivers who needed glare protection and a frame that would not rattle loose at speed. He engineered the Maflecto stem, a flexible spine of small interlocking cylinders that bends to the shape of the head. He built the silver arrow hinge, the little blade of steel you still see riding the temple. Steve McQueen wore the folding 714 and turned it into a legend. He wore it again in the Thomas Crown affair, and a generation decided that was what taste looked like. The Maflecto was never styling either. It was engineering, meant to grip the head without pinching across a long day. And Persol still fits optical glass crystal lenses, a real spec most brands abandoned for cheaper plastic. Credit where it is due. But the word on the tag is artisan, and the word on the ownership papers is Luxottica. Persol has belonged to the giant since 1995. The handmade in Italy aura is now a premium line inside the largest eyewear company on earth. It is priced like the independent workshop it stopped being 3 decades ago. The glass is real, the arrow is real. The independence is long gone. You are paying an artisan premium straight to a conglomerate. The next brand was supposed to be the escape hatch, the one men bought specifically to get away from all of this. Number 5. Costa Del Mar. Let me ask you something directly. You bought Costa to get away from the fashion labels, didn't you? The fishing brand, the performance brand, founded in Daytona Beach in 1983. Built for men who stand in salt water at 6 in the morning and could not care less about a runway. And the lens earns that loyalty. The 580 technology filters out a harsh band of yellow light that haze hides behind, and the water in front of you goes clear. You can pick the 580G, which is real optical glass, sharper and more scratch-resistant, but heavier on the face. Or the 580P, the polycarbonate version, lighter and tougher against a hard knock. The polarization is genuine, not a printed claim. You're not wrong to love it. An angler who has worn them for years can spot a fish under glare a bare eye would miss. As a fishing lens, it is excellent, and I will not pretend otherwise. But the logo is never the lens, and here is where this one turns. But here is the part that stings. Costa is Luxottica too. Essilor bought it in 2014, and the merger folded it into the same house as the Prada and the Ray-Ban. The angler's escape hatch opens straight into the building you were running from. You did not get away from the giant. You bought a different door into it. The lens is worth respecting, but the ownership is the same story you have heard 4 times now. And just when you think this is one company's game, the 6th name proves there are 2. And together, they took the last independent standing. Number 6. Gucci. Here, the picture gets bigger and darker. It is not only Luxottica, there is a second giant. Kering Eyewear, founded in 2014, the eyewear arm of the French luxury group behind Gucci. It owns or makes Gucci, Cartier, Saint Laurent, Bottega Veneta, Balenciaga, Montblanc, and Brioni. Within a few years of launching, it had passed 700 million euros in revenue. A third group, Safilo, makes most of what those 2 do not: Carrera, Polaroid, and a stack of licensed names of its own. 3 companies. That is essentially the whole map of the wall. Between Luxottica and Kering alone, the 2 of them set the price on the lion's share of every premium frame sold on Earth. And in October 2022, Kering did the thing this audience will feel in the gut. It bought Maui Jim, described at the time in plain print as the world's largest independent sunglasses brand. Sit with that. Maui Jim, run out of Peoria, Illinois, was the one men trusted precisely because it stood outside the giants. Its polarized +2 lens is genuinely first-rate. Real glass and polycarbonate options. Real color enhancement. Real UV protection. The independent that earned its name the honest way. Gone. Folded into a luxury conglomerate with the stroke of a pen. So when you stand at that wall and feel like you are picking between rivals, understand the truth. Two companies own almost all of it. The choice was always a picture painted on a closed door. Look at that wall, and you are really looking at two boardrooms. Here is the thing I keep coming back to. None of these brands are badly made. That is not the crime. The crime is the price you pay for a name when the same hands built a cheaper one further down the shelf. So let me show you where the money actually buys something. A few houses never sold out to the giants, and they are the only honest math left. First, Randolph Engineering. If you want the real military aviator, the actual one, it does not come from the giant. It comes from Randolph, Massachusetts, where Randolph Engineering has built sunglasses since 1973. This is the genuine article. The company has been a prime contractor supplying aviators to the United States military since 1982, Navy, Air Force, and Army. During the Gulf War, it built optical inserts for the military gas mask, and the story goes that not one came back rejected. While Ray-Ban's military origin is now a mass-market memory, Randolph still ships the actual spec to actual pilots. Every pair passes through more than 200 separate hand operations, and a build takes roughly 6 weeks. The SkyTech lenses are optical glass, FDA and ANSI rated, impact tested, full UV tuned for contrast. Glass, not the lighter plastic the fashion brands lean on. The same workshop still makes the P3, the model Navy submariners carried. This is not nostalgia dressed up for sale. It is the contract still running. Each frame is soldered, not glued, so a trained hand can take it apart and rebuild it decades later. The company is family-owned and independent. The Waskiewicz family still runs it, and they have turned down buyout offers. They did not sell to the giants when the giants came knocking. There is a service center that repairs lenses and temples for the life of the frame. Send in a 40-year-old pair, and they will bring it back. No conglomerate offers that, because no conglomerate is built to. Their model needs you back at the counter every few years. The price sits around $200 to $300. Read that against a marked-up Ray-Ban. Glass lenses, made in America, mil-spec heritage, lifetime service, for the price of a logo. The next hero attacked the same problem from the opposite end. Second, Warby Parker. Randolph beats the giants on craft. Warby Parker beat them on the math. It was founded in 2010 after one of the founders lost an expensive pair of glasses and balked at what it cost to replace them. They asked a simple question: why does a pair of glasses cost as much as a phone? The answer was a wall of brand names, all inflated behind a single conglomerate's pricing, so they sold direct instead. They cut the licensing royalty, cut the retail margin, and cut the middlemen out of the price entirely. The result lands around $95 to $145. They will mail you 5 frames to try at home, free, before you spend $1. And for every pair sold, the company funds a pair for someone who needs glasses and cannot get them. The name itself is a wink, 2 characters lifted from an old Jack Kerouac journal. Now, I will be honest, because honesty is the whole channel. This is not the Optical Summit, and the lenses are polycarbonate, not glass. But you get real cellulose acetate frames, anti-reflective and scratch coatings, 100% UV protection, independent of both of them, the accessible way out the door. It will not last 40 years like a Randolph, but it costs a fifth as much, and it broke the spell the giants spent decades casting. And the last hero is the oldest name in this entire video. Third, American Optical. Here is a name the marketing machine buried, and it should not have. American Optical was founded in 1833. It is the oldest eyewear company in this entire video. By more than a century, it was grinding lenses before Ray-Ban existed as a brand, and it supplied flight optics to American airmen for generations. In 1958, it built a frame called the FG-58. You know it now as the original pilot. That is the frame Apollo astronauts carried in their survival kits. The first sunglasses on the moon. A pair sits on permanent display in the Smithsonian today. President Kennedy wore the company's Saratoga model and made it a classic. He wore it to Fort Bragg in 1961, and the photographs made it the look of an era. This is American pedigree, no conglomerate manufactured, and it never became a royalty line for anyone. The original Pilot still ships with true optical glass lenses, the Skymaster glass, for a clarity plastic cannot touch. You can order them in a true color gray. It cuts glare without shifting the world's true colors. The company refined that recipe for Pilots a lifetime ago, alongside its Cosmeton brown and True Tone green. It has a bayonet temple, straight and flat, built to slide under a flight helmet without snagging. It is still made in the United States. An American family company, Europa Eyewear, brought the brand back in 2020 and still builds it here. It answers to neither giant, and it sits in the same honest price range as Randolph. It never tripled its price for a logo. For the cost of one marked up designer frame, you get the lens that went to the moon. It was made by a company older than the railroad that first crossed this country. Your father's generation knew this name. It is still here, still glass, still American. So here is the whole video in one breath. The frame costs about $8 to build. The lens is where the money should go. Optical glass over plastic, true polarization over none, full UV over a printed claim. And two companies own nearly every logo on that wall, including the independent you thought you were choosing. Read the lens, read the owner, not the name on the arm. The aviators your father wore were glass, made in America, built to outlive him. You can still buy exactly that. You just have to step around the wall to do it. I'm Bill. I read the lens, not the logo. If you missed our breakdown on the luggage brands, you must stop buying. It is linked below. Same consolidation story. One parent behind the whole shelf. And our video on the shoe brands you must stop buying covers the identical pattern at 232,000 views. Subscribe. This channel reads the lens, not the logo.